Hi and welcome back to my channel. Let's create the skirts today. For this project I'm going to be tracing the full front block because the skirt is an asymmetrical one. So make sure you transfer your dart, and I'm extending the length of the skirt because obviously it's a long skirt. I'm just going to cut out the part we don't need now. So I've transferred both darts, and what I'm going to do now is just extend a straight line from the tip of the dart to the bottom of the skirt. And the measurement for that place is 4.8. So the way you do this basically is just measure from the center front to the tip of the dart, and whatever you get, just take that same measurement all the way down to the hem. The next thing to do is to eliminate our darts. So you do that by just taking the measurement of the dart. Mine is 2.5 cm. So I'm going to take that out from this side of the skirt. So you'll do that for both sides, but I'll be showing you how to take it on one side, and then I'm just going to fold the paper and cut it out. When eliminating the dart, ensure you take it out up until the point where the apex is. So I have it on one side, I'm now folding it. Now I'm going to cut it off on both sides, so left and the right side of the skirt. This just ensures accuracy on each side. So we've taken out the darts now, so that just means those two darts no longer exist, so you can ignore them. The next thing to do is create this style line. So if you remember, the slit isn't straight, so those are the lines we're going to be creating at this point. At the hem of the skirt, you just determine how much leg you want to show. So for mine, on the left I've taken out 3.5, and on the right I'll take out 2.5. So for yours, you can determine how much leg you're willing to show and then take that measurement out from the hem of your skirt. You can also make your skirt pencil, so you can pencil it out at this stage. I didn't make mine a pencil skirt. So for a more snug or fit look, you can create a pencil skirt. Once you've taken out the measurements, you can draw the line back up to the apex. And I'm also going to extend that line to the waist of the skirt. Once all of that is in place, we're going to be creating that deep part of the skirt I showed you initially. So I measured 2.5 centimeters along that line, and then I'm connecting it to both tips of the waist. So that's what your pattern should look like at this point. We're now going to cut out all the style lines. Our pattern is now separated, so we can work on the slash lines now. For the bigger part of the skirt, which is the one on the left, we're going to be slashing 3 lines from one tip to the other, and then take the measurement of that first line and just replicate it. So mine was 3.5. I'm going to be making 2 more 3.5 lines. So the lines are going from the slit to the side of the skirt, so the side front, and then you can just label them 1, 2, 3, just so it's easier to recognize them later. And we're going to do the same thing for the right side of the skirt. Measure your 3.5 cm lines and draw your slash lines to the tip. Okay, so with the lines drawn, the next thing to do is to cut them open. Starting with the small one, we're going to slash the line between 2 and 3. So we're going to cut it out completely. And then the line between 1 and 2, we're going to slash that, but not completely, so they'll still be joined at the tip. And then we'll repeat the same thing for this line, so line 3. We're going to slash it to the tip, but not through. On your fresh piece of paper, you're now going to place the patterns and spread those slash lines you've cut open and just face them against each other. So the important thing to note here is to make sure the tips touch each other, just like you see here, and then you're free to cut out the pattern. We're literally going to repeat the same steps for this part of the skirt. Slash the line between 2 and 3 completely. And then slash this line 3, but not through, so not completely. You do the same thing for the line between 1 and 2. Put this part on paper as well and face them opposite each other and ensure the tips touch, and cut out your pattern. So that's our pattern all done. The idea basically is to sew it back on itself to ensure that way you'll ensure that number 1 goes back up where it belongs. So you're just going to be sewing along that line, and the same thing applies to this part as well. So I'll cut them on fabric so you can have a better understanding. The pattern is cut now, and I've added allowance just along the areas I'm going to be sewing. But when you're making yours, you'll need to add allowance all through because you'll need to finish the slit and join the sides. Just like I mentioned initially, we're going to just be sewing it back on itself and sewing from the side of the skirt towards the fold. So that's what it looks like sewn. We're just sewing from the side towards the fold, and there's a hole towards the fold, so just before the fold, we need that hole to insert the smaller part of the skirt. So to finish it off, we're going to be working on the smaller part, and just like the big one, we're going to be sewing it back on itself. So you can understand, I've placed the pattern back on, and that tip I'm touching, so the upper tip is 0.2 and the bottom one is 0.3. You're just going to be sewing 0.2 back on 0.3, so back on itself. But you'll do that once you've inserted it into the hole on the bigger part of the skirt. So I'm just going to insert it now and show you. When you do this, you need to ensure that your fabric, so both sides, the left and the right, are facing, so the right sides are facing up, and then you place the small one into that hole and pull it out from the back. Once you've successfully pulled it out, right sides facing up, just pull back 0.2 onto 0.3 and sew from the tip inwards. That's what the pattern looks like sewn, or the fabric looks like sewn. And I'm just going to put it on the mannequin and show you what it looks like. This is what your finished skirt should look like, at least the finished front should look like. It has the slit, it has the dip at the waist. You can make yours pencil if you like. Once again, thank you so much for watching today, and I hope to see you in the next one. Please like, share and subscribe.